Called meeting of the Danville City Commission for this evening, Monday, July 13th, 2020. The hour is 5:30, and we are all present and accounted for, and I'd like to welcome you to the Bank of the City of Danville. Please see any teller you wish along here. We will gladly make your deposit for you. With that said, I'll ask we be led in a moment of prayer by Commissioner Denise Terry.
That's okay. No, it's all right.
No, Cottle's doing it.
Commissioner Cottle.
No, always second choice. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you once again for the opportunity to gather here as neighbors and friends. Tonight we celebrate two people who are starting new chapters in their lives. We ask that you be with them, and we're also celebrating people who do good works. We ask for your continued blessing for them as well. Also guide us as we continue through this pandemic. Help us to make good choices and lift those up who are in need of your helping hand. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Tonight we have a special guest to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Miss Jenna Newby, who's an 8th grader at Boyle County. Miss Newby, if you'll come right up here with Mr. Atkins, and we're going to let you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Now, wait a minute. Don't run on. And while he's doing that, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who's mom and dad? Okay. And what's your favorite subject? Math.
All right.
Good for you. Pay no attention. Man, thank you for joining us.
Pay no attention to the man behind the mask.
Give her a hand.
Mr. Mayor, you gave her a key to the city, but that also gives you a chance to get one free green light bulb on your way out this evening also, okay?
Or 2 or 3 or 4 green light bulbs. Or a case
Yeah.
if you want.
I was going to say, everyone here has to take at least a case home with you tonight.
Don't laugh.
Why do I feel like I'm in a call center? Anyway. You have had the tonight's agenda and material in front of you, and I will assume it meets with your approval unless I hear otherwise. We'll move right on into item 1, kind of the fun thing. This is for presentations to the green light bulb money. So give you a little bit of, hello Stephen, welcome back. Give you a little bit of background. Previous city manager started a thing when all this began back on March 12th to raise awareness about the COVID-19 and all of this pandemic that it brings to us. So we were selling these for donations, and we decided that we would take the funds and divvy it up amongst the 5 of us, and each of us got to choose one or several groups that we wanted to give the proceeds to. With that, our first up is for the Jenny Carroll Backpack for Kids. Who's the representative for that? Come right on. Mr. Atkins, I believe, has something for you.
Michelle has something.
Michelle. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. Come back again soon, please.
Retired educator. Okay. And what made me think about this group is at Tall Elementary School, Mrs. Peggy Belcher, Mrs. Belcher was kind of doing this COVID-19 thing, but she worked in the cafeteria products. So we're obviously a nice place for you to get a flat for the kids in August. And just put in honor of Jenny Curl. It's my honor to present you a check for $2,107.
Okay.
The Jenny Carroll race every year is our big fundraiser. With everything going on where it is this year, we can't do the Jenny Carroll quick catch. So we're still doing a fundraiser through that because the shirt, everybody wants a shirt from Jenny Carroll race. So we're still going to do that fundraiser. But stuff like this, since we can't do the race, big help. Thank you so much. It will be on our Facebook page as soon as the t-shirt design we actually got today for our meeting and approved it, but it'll be on our Facebook feed,
Yeah.
and it'll say, it's, everybody knows the Jenny Carroll t-shirt. We put masks on the balloons. So, and since we can't do the race, we're gonna have a donation for those, and we'll send those out to you if you wanna be a part of that. So if you look on the Jenny Carroll 5K Facebook page, you'll be able to be a part of that. But
Well, be sure to include the city commissioners in
and you
that
got it,
T-shirt
you got
thing,
it,
right?
You got it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent, thank you. Next is the Boyle County Schools Food Program.
What'd you do with the microphone? Oh. It's on? Is this thing on?
Yeah, I hope so. I didn't use it on the teacher boards right now.
Thank you all for coming. I actually asked to divide mine between both of the school systems that are feeding the children through this summer and through this pandemic. I believe something special may be done for the staff who has been doing that, and maybe a special meal, I don't know. But anyway, this is going to the food program from each school system that has been out there on the front lines feeding our children through this pandemic and our families, and they've been doing an awesome job. So thank you all so much. And Michelle has a check for us. There you go. You want a picture?
Yes, if you can, oh, either way.
Okay. We're smiling, you just can't tell.
I know, yeah. I just want to thank our community. I'm Jennifer Newby. I'm the chairman of the Boyle County Board of Education. This is Katie Ellis, our food service director. And just a public acknowledgement of all the work that Katie and her team have done. They've been on the front line. Many times I went through the line kind of to check to see what was going on so that I could back what I was telling people. But also I've got my kids' meals. It was for anybody in the community. And I know Danville was working just as hard as our team. And it's just greatly appreciated the extra work that you and your team did for all the kids in our community. So thank you.
Well, thank you all for looking forward, and I'm headed back to pack some more meals.
All right. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you. Mr. Steve Becker. Thank you. Thank you all for coming. This is for the Danville school system feeding food program that has been feeding our children all summer and through this pandemic and doing extra work. And you can talk a little bit about that if you would like.
This is Patty Taylor. She is our food service director.
Is that mic on?
And we are very proud of this group. I mean, so once this started, priority one was our children, making sure they're being fed. That's continuing to this day. If things happen again that we're out, it's going to continue. So it's been really a community effort. We have our frontline warriors, and that's our food service folks. I mean, they have dug in and made it priority to be there when they need to be there to take care of our kids. And it's just been such an honor to be a part of the district and to work with fine folks just like Patty Taylor. So do you have a couple of words?
Just thank you all. Just when I thought I'd seen just about everything over the last 30 years, along came COVID-19. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Did you get a picture? Who's next?
Next up, CASA.
Okay, I hope you can all hear me through the mask here. Good deal. So, there's a lot of great things happening in our town, a lot of great charities, and it was really kind of tough. I actually split my money because during COVID-19, some things that we're doing out there did not stop. They might have even gotten worse. So I felt like I needed to split that money up a little bit. So court-appointed special advocates. Yes, Laura Grant. We are giving you $1,000, what does that say? $55, right? 65. There you go. It's all yours.
Thank you so much. The work that we do has continued and has actually increased during this time. There's a lot of kids at home and going through lots of different changes and changes in the routines, and our advocates are working harder than they ever have. So the work that we've done has not stopped. So we really appreciate this. This is going to go a long way for us, and thank you so much for thinking of us.
Keep up the good work.
Next up, Family Services. Roger. Come on in here, Roger Trent. Lee did, his wife.
I learned how to tie a tie when I was in Center College.
One of the agencies that I think performs a task that's kind of unheralded is Family Services. I know when people are in need, Family Services is one of the agencies that fills in when people really have a difficult time, and we're in one of those. And so with that, Roger, I'd like to present Family Services to you for an amount of $2,130. Thanks
Awesome.
for what you do.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Board of Family Services, I'd like to thank the City of Danville and all of you for your great contribution. I can assure you that this amount of money will be spent judiciously and for the betterment of our community and our citizens. Thank you.
Thanks, Roger.
What's that? Yep, I'm going. Yep, Nursing Home Ombudsman. Go without the fog this time, right? All right, I won't say as much as I did before, but I will say I do work in healthcare, so I'm kind of close to what you folks have to go through. In fact, I've been working in nursing homes now the last couple of weeks, checking some of their equipment, and that's a tough place when we have a COVID-19 kind of thing going on. You have a captive group there, they can't run away from it, and so folks like your group, the Nursing Home Ombudsman, keeping an eye on things and making sure that it's being done right, we appreciate it. So here's a check for $1,065.
We really appreciate being considered for these funds, and I think it was such a great idea to have this donation for the Green Lights, such a good program. And as you've already said, our nursing home residents have been just devastated by this, and although we are going to see some nursing homes open up this week, I really, really encourage you, if you have family or friends or loved ones in the nursing home, that you continue to wear your mask anywhere you go, because it is so easy to bring to that building and touch every life there and every life that person has in their life. So please, please, please continue to wear your masks and bring those with you when you go out, and especially when you visit. Thank you again. I really appreciate it.
I'll say one more thing about nursing homes, and I said I've been working in them. They're really, really good about checking and screening you in, so they're really looking out for their residents there. So good work.
Next up is Shepherd's House.
I think most of you know what the Shepherd's House does, but I'll let Roger maybe touch on that in a minute. But addiction is a everybody problem, and there's some organizations on the front lines, such as the Shepherd House, that at least try to deal with it here locally. I got to know Roger through the local ASAP program, and I enjoy talking to people who are passionate about what they do, and so if you ever get a chance, talk to Mr. Fox, because he is, and he gets it done. And last year we gave them money, city money, which we could not do this year, so I thought it appropriate to include him in the funds for the light bulbs, because I know it's affected what they've done as well. So my pleasure to present you with $2,130.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of you all for including the Shepherd's House in this event. Addiction is something that's not going to stop for a worldwide pandemic, unfortunately, and we believe that, we're going to see an increase in need of services, and this money will allow us to keep our doors open for anybody in Boyle County, inside of Danville, that comes to our door and asks for help. We will never be able to turn a person away. We will always make sure that they get the appropriate help that they need. So this money will help with that, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
And with that, that concludes our light bulb money presentation.
Mayor, would you like to announce that we still have light bulbs and we can still raise some money with those? Or if you guys want to take them with you and give them out, you're free to do so.
Please, feel free.
Please do. We still have about 1,000 light bulbs.
If you don't take it, we're going to have a karaoke contest.
And make you sit here and listen to it.
Take them with you and give them out for donations for more for your organizations if you need to. So please do. Thank you.
Where'd the microphone go?
Oh, I gave it back to Shannon.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bear. All right.
This was, first and
Chase the truck down.
do it.
Over there in the corner, big guy. No, I was just kidding.
Chuck, you're first. Go ahead, Earl.
Mayor, I appreciate the opportunity to speak on Chuck's behalf for a minute. I want to say that Chuck has been a long-term employee for the city. I'll read his bio really fast, but even to get started, I want to say I appreciate Chuck. He served as the utility inspector, but he did so many loose end things for the role I had through the years, whatever that became. He would react to, as we had special projects, and he would just respond to those, and we could come up with some off-the-wall things, and he would always figure out a way to make that work and come up with a better idea. A lot of times he would be dispatched to a situation, and he would invent something a little bit better. And so personally, on a very personal level, I want to tell Chuck before we get started, I appreciate you, appreciate everything you've done. I know the utility guys don't know what they're going to be missing, but saying that, Chuck began his career with the City of Danville Water Distribution Department in 1994. He had previously been with the City of Liberty as a water plant operator. His duties while here included meter reading, the distribution system. He worked in maintenance. He was a supervisor in maintenance for a while, including he took care of utility line relocation. So when you call BUD requests, Chuck would go out and work you through that, as well as, like I said, the many other responsibilities. Eventually, he did settle in on the utility inspector. He has overseen the growth of the utility system in a time where the city expanded through subdivision construction, through capital construction projects ourselves. He was in Junction City when we expanded to the airport and sanitary sewer, the Balls Branch sewer project. Just he has seen over that period of 20 years in that role He just an sundry of growth and expansion for the utility. He served as the KLC risk and safety person for us. He would work at the conference, and he eventually was on their advisory board. He has a strong background in as being a volunteer firefighter and EMT as well. Currently, he has served or serving as the assistant chief for his local rescue squad there in Liberty, Kentucky. He has a distribution operator Class 4 license, treatment operator Class 4 license, wastewater collection Class 3 license, and also certified to do our stormwater program. He will be a tough one to replace, and he is one that you don't replace, that you just try to pick up and go on from. Chuck, I appreciate you. Thanks, sir.
And Chuck, on behalf of the city of Danville, yeah, let's have an applause here. Go ahead. You got the microphone? Oh, that's for you. You hold it. On behalf of the city of Danville, as is customary, we present you with a knife. Represents your 26 years of service, keeping Earl straight.
Big task, sorry.
So we hope you enjoy that. Tell us what you plan to do in the next chapter.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, Earl, for the kind words. My next chapter is just continue doing what I'm doing outside of the city of Danville, fire rescue, EMS. My wife has already said I've got to go back to work. I've got to do something. I'm not staying at home where she works, so I'm just telling. She's telling it. But the main thing is, and Earl knows I brag on our guys. He'll tell you at 2 o'clock in the morning when he and I are talking on job sites, whether it's 15 below zero, which we was out one night and it was that cold, or if it's 100 degrees out in the street, that I brag, and being a part of this group has been great. I've had a great job over the years, and I've told many people I've always been in a good place with the city of Danville. I've learned a lot through working with some great engineering firms, some great contractors, and on jobs out in the field where we're expanding the utility infrastructure. I looked at it two ways, and Earl always knew this, and he could rely on it, is what's best for the city of Danville, what's the likelihood in the future that our employees was going to have to go make repairs, spend money that should not have to be spent. And I always approach that as, if this is my project, this is the high expectations out of the contractors that we expected from them on their jobs. So we've got a great utilities department. Danville does water distribution, sewer, public works, and their skills on getting jobs done in a timely manner. I will tell you all, I'll put them up against anybody. They could have took shortcuts and fixed jobs in the middle of the night, but they chose to leave service on for the customers to make sure their services were there when they needed it, and they picked their battles. They fought through them with the concern for the customers first, and they was able to complete their tasks under some of the most extreme conditions. So the city should be blessed in who they have working for them. And if you don't know who they are, you see them on the job sites, I encourage each and every one of you all, stop and talk to them, and you'll truly learn you've got a high value in your employees here. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this.
Thank you for being a part of it. Yes, sir. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Mr. James Griffin, front and center. Yeah, come on.
He's a good-looking one in the family, right?
Look at that face. Hi, brother. All right. Earl?
Mr. James Henry is the same way. James has been around us for years. We have been on job sites with James in the middle of the night. You go down the shop, and he will participate in our meetings sometimes, and he is someone we value, not because he works hard, but because he brings balance to us in serious situations. He breaks that tension, allows us to think clearly, and he's someone we are going to miss as much as Chuck, although he had a little different interaction with us, but that doesn't mean that we didn't appreciate him and what he did. He worked a lot through this building and speeding around town trying to take care of service requests and things. And James, I appreciate you and more than you know. He began his career also in '94. He worked in the cemeteries and public works department. Finally ended up at a position that he enjoyed, I believe, and worked at for a long time in water distribution. He was the maintenance worker in that department and included duties over the years of reading meters, setting meters, service work. But he settled in on field work orders when Dallas Kaufman retired and really did a great job with that and picked up right where he left off, which is a position where you work by yourself a lot. But James, we appreciate you more than you know. Yep.
James? And that's 26 years right there.
All right, appreciate it.
We appreciate it. Tell us what you're going to do now.
I ain't too much of a talker, but I appreciate everything y'all done for me. I'm going to take up fishing. I've never done it before, so I'm going to take it up. All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you, James. Now, you and I go back how far?
30, 40 years.
At least.
Yes, sir.
At least. And you're retiring, and I'm not. Something's wrong with the picture, but sometime, hopefully, I'll wed a line with you.
All right.
That'd be all right?
All right.
I'll bring the beverage.
Okay.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you, James.
He always wanted us to know he was a good-looking brother.
Those guys are why Danville is Danville. Is
Yep.
why
That's
we
right.
function like we do.
Yep.
I don't know if we show them the appreciation we should as much as we should, but we certainly do appreciate what they do.
I think everybody will echo those same sentiments, sir. Well said. Item 4 is the approval of the minutes from the June 22nd, June 24th, June 25th, June 29th, and June 30th special called meetings.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from all of those meetings that the mayor just identified by dates.
Motion's been made and seconded. Do I hear, motion made.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Terry. I would like to offer one small detail in here. It's just kind of a grammatical one, and it has to do with the minutes of June 22nd on the third page. At the very bottom, second from the bottom, it says Commissioner Cottle made a motion to approve the property acquisition, but it doesn't say what property. So at some point, we need to just add that in there. And if Commissioner Atkins will accept my correction, I'd appreciate it.
So moved, sir.
Thank you. And I assume the second will stand
Second
as
that.
well. If no other additions or corrections, Chair will call vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 5 is the codes enforcement report. We haven't had one of those in a while.
Yeah. Got rid of me for a little while, but I'm back. We do want to update you on what we were doing for the months of April, May, and June. As you can see there, we had 345 inspections for those 3 months. We actually issued 98 business licenses, and June really picked up. We doubled what we normally issue in the month of June, up to 53. We did not place any liens during this time period, but we will be starting that on July 15th. We waited until House Bill 378 takes effect on Wednesday, because currently the lien filing fee to put on is $46 on and $46 off. So by waiting till the 15th, it will save everybody money. So it'll be $20 on and $20 off. So we issued 37 citations, parking citations. That will go up as we probably only had a few weeks of citations in there. All but one of our alcohol licensees has renewed. There were extensions on deadlines for that. One surrendered their license, and we have one in process for sale, but we've done really well on collecting those and getting our alcohol regulatory fee in. Also during this time, starting on the 15th, Senate Bill 99, which was a lot of alcohol changes in there, just little tweaks to the alcohol laws will take effect. And also House Bill 415 will take effect, which is the direct shipper license, where that's, you can get it direct shipped to your door. And the address where that is shipped is where the alcohol regulatory fee will be paid on that. So we were required to notify the Kentucky Alcohol Beverage Control by August 1 what our rates are, so we have done that. So anyone, it works a little bit like the insurance premium tax. They will file a regulatory fee, and then they will send the fee along with that. We don't know how much it'll be until we get it, but at least we will have the opportunity to get that fee in there. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
I've got a question about this property on North 5th Street, Beech Tree, NCM, LLC. So you've been citing them. How are we going to collect those funds?
That's the challenge we have with a lot of properties, Mayor, is we still have to take care of the problems, but trying to collect them sometimes is a challenge. We continue to send out monthly lien letters to the addresses that we have that are current and try to collect those any way we can, but there are still properties that are uncollectible, but the grass keeps growing, and we ought to do something with it.
Gotcha.
we do hope to have 222 West Main off of there for the next monthly report. I think they've finished what they need to, so hopefully that will be off there next month.
That would be nice for all concerned. Mm-hmm. Any questions or comments for Ms. Lester?
I'm just pleased with the 90 plus. Wow, that was amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How's the research into the, what are we calling it? The
EDC?
entertainment district kind of thing?
Well, we are waiting to meet with the group that's doing the downtown master plan. That'll all come together at the same time. Earl can address that more, I guess, as far as that goes. But we are actively working on that. We're just waiting to, the next step will be to meet with that group.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 6 is Resolution 2020-07-13-01, Kentucky Department of Ag Humane Society grant application. Mr. Coffey.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. The Kentucky Department of Agriculture provides matching funds grant opportunity for the Humane Society to do spay and neutering. The grants are awarded typically between $0 and $2,500. The application this year is a draft of that's being provided. The suggestion is that the request is that the city could provide the matching funds, and I think in looking through it with the city attorney, I think the opportunity is to provide a one-time grant through the resolution to the Humane Society to provide that local match. The application will be completed, I think, as it typically would be with the county being the applicant, with the matching funds being provided by the city.
I'll move approval of resolution 2020-07-1301 with the Kentucky Department of Agriculture.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion, comments?
The way I read this is for their spay and neuter clinic?
That is correct. Right. We did the math in talking to Ms. Ramsey. They do about 1,200 surgeries a year. The grant, when including the matching funds, offsets about 150 of those.
Wow.
So it's a significant effort and a significant operating expense for those folks.
Kind of goes without saying, too, that this Humane Department does better than a lot of other counties terms. And so I think it would be good for us to keep that ball rolling in the right direction.
Can I ask why this came to us and not the county? You don't really want to answer that, do you?
It would be, statutorily, it is a requirement of a county to operate animal control. That is a county service requirement by law. So it would be traditional that the county would be the partner in this organization, which is a joint nonprofit county function venture. animal control is not a service function of the city. However, for whatever reason, the county chose not to participate this year and thought that the city should. And so the Humane Society has been an organization that the city has supported in various community grant funds in the past, or different special projects. For instance, when the new center was developed, the city supported that venture. So the city has always been supportive of the Humane Society, while it is the fiscal responsibility of the court to uphold their statutorily required duties. That is why in order to try and allow you to facilitate your support of the Humane Society without complicating a statutory framework, it was conceived that we could possibly give the Humane Society a one-time community grant outside of this particular grant application to support their ventures. What I would be protective of against would be standing in the place of the county and being a matching partner for something they're statutorily required to do. So while the request is from the county for the city to step up, I would say is off base. The desire for the city to support the efforts of the Humane Society, I know, is there. And so in order to accomplish that goal, this was the method, the only method I could create to allow you to proceed if you want to. What I cannot endorse is allowing the mayor's signature on an application that is contemplated for county support. It would be no different than the city requesting the county to match a grant for the City of Danville Police Department for special vests or equipment, because the county could derive a benefit from that as well. However, this one-time community grant, separate from this grant application, so long as the county stays the fiscal agent with the Humane Society, I think is doable, albeit it's a creative method of going around the barn.
Do we know if the county was asked to fulfill this need?
This request, to my knowledge, was made by the Humane Society, or a representative of the Humane Society, to Commissioner Saris after the county declined to participate.
And did the county give any reason for the declination?
I don't know if Commissioner Saris can speak to that. I was only told that that a comment was made, something about, we always do this at the court, let's let the city do it this year.
Do you want me to, I could get off in the weeds here and.
Well, I was a little hesitant to ask that question, but I think it was something that needs to be asked and talked about.
And this is not about the worthiness of the Humane Society at all.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
This is about our role and the county's, as you say, statutory responsibility.
Right, and that's precisely why, instead of this being a hard no, is in this delicate format that's before you, that's tiptoeing around perhaps a larger issue.
I agree, and I think this is a good idea, and I think what you did here is a great way to go about it. Well, part of what we have to do too is protect our taxpayers' money, and they're already footing the bill for Humane Society through their county taxes. And I know we can fight that battle all day and go whip it around in a circle, but it just kind of irritates me when they say we should do something. There, I said it.
Yes.
I'm through.
And I would like to request that the mayor and or Mr. Coffey address this with the judge, executive, And while we have come up with a creative way to make this happen, it's really not our responsibility. And I, along with Commissioner Cottle, I don't appreciate it. But we're going to do the right thing, and we're going to support the Humane Society. But I don't appreciate the way this has been done, and I guess I'm just going on public record as saying that.
Let me ask the commission this question. Before we take a vote on this, would you like for me to circle back with the judge and say, don't you really want to rethink your obligation here?
Well, the problem is there's a timeline of July 15th, is there not?
That is correct, yeah.
You have to have the application in. So the request from Ms. Ramsey was that the county was not going to do it. They felt like this was a shared service between the city and county, although you pointed out differently, but we've shared services a lot like we've done with Parks and Rec. And I think what I'm hearing from you all is we don't want the Humane Society to take the dump for this just because the county's bailing on them. But I would say, and I think what you're alluding to, is the county owes us one. And we need to start setting precedent that they have their obligations and we have ours, and we can work together that way, not pass it around.
Sure, and this is entirely different than, let's say, Parks and Recreation, which the law contemplates there being joint ventures for. You know, when the issues of animal control kind of came to a head, I don't know, it's probably been 5 or 6 years now, but we had a big meeting at Intercounty Energy. Remember, it was clarified and through that process that the city has no role in animal control.
Right.
We repealed all ordinances and allowed the county complete control because, in fact, it is their statutory responsibility.
Does anybody know if this was presented to the fiscal court, or was this presented to an individual on the fiscal court, and that individual said, let the city do it? I mean, does anybody know? I don't recall it being submitted to the fiscal court in any kind of meeting.
No, I don't, but if memory serves me correctly, I believe they had an issue with this last year and maybe almost didn't do it. But Mayor, I would also encourage you to talk to Ms. Ramsey about that.
I will do so. You can bet on it.
I would like to know the whole story there.
In an ideal world, if timing weren't an issue, we would have this as a discussion item tonight.
Right.
And it would not be an action requested item.
Well, and the match is what, up to $2,500?
Right, but if you, and I know this is nuanced, and it maybe perhaps there's no difference. What I'm proposing is that you not give a match, that you simply give the Humane Society a grant, a community agency grant of $2,500, and pay no attention to this grant opportunity that they have. And I understand that is a tightrope to walk, but nonetheless, I think it's an important distinction. And it's not, frankly, a precedent that the city should establish in assuming fiscal responsibility for the duty of another public agency.
And this grant's going to be used specifically for the neutering and spaying of animals. I think
that's correct.
Key that we point that out.
And we all know that they're just strictly found in the city limits, the stray animals that need neutering and spaying.
Of course.
No, I'm not saying that.
Can we somehow, let's see, I guess we ought to, any other question or comments?
No, but I appreciate you creating the vessel for us to get this done for them. They are very passionate about what they do, and they do a great job out there. And we are happy to help, but just we need to address this with the county.
I'm pretty tickled you used vessel in the sentence. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's the word of the day.
You didn't say it was appropriate or not, though, did you?
In a normal budget cycle, if the Humane Society made a grant request or an agency request to you to help with whatever project they had, and whether it was Happy Paws or not, you would be inclined, based upon past years' experience, to support them in some degree.
Which we actually gave them 4 or 5 years ago. We gave them $10,000 for their capital project of building their new facility. And I use them as an example all the time for that allocation, because they came, they had a specific project, we gave them money, it was a one-time thing, and they haven't been back. And I'm not telling people to not come back, but that's the way that agency allocation process should work, and they are the example that I use all the time for that.
If my memory is correct, I believe Betty Poland promised that this was a one-time ask and that they would never be back.
Right, and they had most of the money raised.
They
Hardly
raised
had
all that
spent of
money.
the-
Yeah,
Right,
they raised
correct.
almost all of that
Final
on their
money.
own, and yeah, that was a
Well,
great deal.
I called for the question, and in calling for the question, I want to state before we vote that I am in support of this grant that's before us.
Question's been called. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Mr. Atkins, you have something to say?
No,
Okay.
I said it. City manager.
I'll just leave it like this. I hope that our brethren at the county government will not put us in this position again.
Well, I think we should, right, I agree with you, but I think we should seek some reimbursement for that. Reimbursement.
I'll have my conversation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But I think in case this is an issue that comes up annually, my support is because of what it's going for. If it's going straight to the Humane Society for its daily functions would be one thing, but this is sort of a very specific use of the money, and not so much for strays, but just when people go to the Humane Society to adopt an animal. This is one of the first things they look to have done to to those animals. So that's why I think it's very supportive. And
Okay. City manager report, Mr. Coffey.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. I don't really have a report for this meeting other than just to say that we would like to confirm for the citizens that we are doing work. We're here, and city staff particularly is here across the board, present with good energy to continue the effort of the city and to continue the objectives that you all provide, and we'll do that to the best of our ability. I know the staff is working really hard behind the scenes, and so anything we can do, we'll be here and offer support or information or address concerns.
Earl, I think you're cutting yourself short. You should go ahead, and you've kept us in touch with a lot of things, and you got to let the public know that the lighting downtown has been completed. Playgrounds are happening at Jackson Park. Yeah, if you want to expand on
Well,
any
we
of that.
can, yeah. The Public Works, thanks to Public Works, they were out last week, and with contractor, the pedestrian lights have been replaced. I know that John will try to do a more comprehensive update as we continue to evaluate those. We were downtown a couple times this weekend and felt like it's an improvement. So we may look at, in the short term, running that on down towards the post office. We do think there's some additional lights there that we could change with that same model. That may be an intermediate improvement until the entire system's replaced. Fortunately, with KSD, their expansion of the elementary school, they had an abandoned playground. We were able to work with the vendor and the school to acquire that for redeployment, as we say, at Jackson Park. I think thanks to John Bells, he's working really hard on that with the contractor and Public Works with Rick to make that happen. We really didn't know what we had. We thought what we were getting was what came in 3 pieces. We're working through that. It could be 4 pieces. It could be 2 larger pieces. So because the way those are, they're componentized, or you know, they attach to each other, for lack of a better description. So, but nevertheless, we're excited. They're in good condition. They're not that old. I think their original year was like 05, maybe around there. So we're excited because it adds those to Jackson Park, and that was on our list to replace those anyway. So it's a great redeployment, and so we'll keep going in that direction.
Any questions of the city manager, interim city manager?
No, I was going to mention, I guess this is for John. Glad to see the splash pad. There's about, it's full of kids all day long. It's full of some not kids, too. Out there cooling off. So, yeah, it's off to a good.
More than 50 at any given time.
I counted 47.
There you go.
So,
That's a good count. Good count.
but yeah, it's neat to see all those cars there and all the kids around. It's fun.
All right. That it, Earl?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
We'll move right on into hear the public. If the public has any comments that they would like to submit to Ashley Rader at arader@danvilleky.gov. Include your name and street address.
I've not received any as of right now.
Okay. If any come through, we'll back up and deal with them. Commissioner comments? Mr. Atkins?
I had the honor yesterday of being invited to Harrisburg, First Baptist Church. Danville citizen, Mr. Albert Lee Taylor, was honored by the Korean government for his active military duty. He served 14 months of duty in Korea, and they gave him the National Korean Military Medal of Honor.
That's cool.
Hope I got that all right. But really was nice, and I found out about it, so I had a chance to go, and there was quite a few Danvillians who were in attendance. But we're proud of them. The other two things I had was downtown lighting, and I went to Jackson Park, and so those two projects are underway. Really good.
I just wanted to acknowledge that our community lost a great servant recently, and we just haven't had the opportunity to acknowledge that. Lynn Dean passed away a few weeks ago. She offered great service to this community. She was the first female county attorney, but most importantly, she was a wife and mother. And so just remember her husband and children that she has left here, and she will be missed.
Well said.
I have nothing at this time. Commissioner Cardle?
No, me.
Mr.
Yield my
Saris?
time to Mr. Saris.
Well, I want to do a shout out to the staff in the absence of a full-time employed city manager, and we have a good interim in place. The staff is getting their job done, and that's why I wanted to encourage Earl to talk about some of those things. We're just not sitting stagnant. We're moving forward. Parks and Rec is on board. They've got some programs moving, and that brings me to the bigger point that as across America we try to open up, there's been setbacks, and certainly it's been really pleasurable to see Danville opening up. And I encourage everybody to use some common sense. We don't want to back up. It's going to kill some of our small businesses. So do what you need to do to try to prevent the spread and keep things rolling. And I might do one more thing. John, we got a national day of anything coming up? None that I'm comfortable with the current protocols that are out.
That's it. Very good. We'll move into the financial section. Item 8, you have the bill list. Chair will accept a motion to approve as presented.
I move for approval of the bill list in the amount of $1,041,715.04 as presented.
I will second that. I'm impressed you can read those
Thank
big
you.
numbers.
Thank you, Commissioner Cottle, and thank you, Commissioner Terry, for your second discussion. Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 9 is the bond refunding. Michelle?
Yes, at the beginning of the fiscal calendar year, we agreed to sell bonds, and we did that for, the sewer system. Then it also in that bond ordinance, it had to refund a couple of bonds that we had at KLC if we could get a lower rate. We did that. We did get a lower rate. We got a 1.641 interest rate for those bonds, and so and that was even, we shortened the term of the fire truck so that it would be more apt to the life of the fire truck, left the stormwater at the 10-year of the life left. And so over the next 10 years, we should save $167. So I just wanted to give you all that information that we did do that we've executed that and going forward.
Any questions for Michelle? Seeing none. Item 10, thank you, Michelle, good job. Item 10 is Resolution 2020-07-13-02. This is the copier service contract renewal for the fire department, I assume?
Yes, it is. They have a copier over there that we like to do a service contract on. It's only $300 a year. We would ask that we execute that.
Do you hear a motion?
I move for approval of Resolution 2020-07-13-02, the FAR copier service contract renewal.
Thank you, Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Terry, thank you. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 11 is Resolution 2020-07-13-03. This is a line of credit renewal at Farmers National Bank. Again, Michelle.
Yes, this is the line of credit renewal that we do every year at this time in order to, it's a safeguard on our checking account. It's for $700,000. It's for emergencies only. We don't anticipate to use it, but it's there in case something happens. We don't get a bond money or something in as anticipated. The interest rate is 3.4%.
Do I hear a motion for this resolution?
I move for approval of Resolution 2020-07-13-03.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Sears. Discussion?
I just want to ask our city attorney, I have a familiar relationship with someone at Farmers Bank. Does that preclude me from voting?
No, sir, it does not.
Okay, just want to be on the record for that.
You do that every year, which is very kind of you, and my answer is the same.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 12 is Resolution 2020-07-13-04. This is approval for streets paving. Mr. Castle. Push up.
Just tap it real quick.
There we go.
There you go.
Sorry to take so much time. It takes longer to get that going than to explain this item here. Street paving approval is just for the street named Vincent. It's at the intersection with Hilltop. It's the entrance to the north side of Jackson Park. The property owner called in and was complaining about some failure in the street because the heavy garbage trucks going through there. And it was a spot that it's been heaving bad and it's going to get worse and propagate around the rest of the street. So we wanted to go ahead and get the full depth repair done and then overlay the street and be done with it in that location. So it's going to take about 65 tons. We're hoping with y'all's approval we can get it done in the next few weeks.
Good.
Any,
I move for approval of Resolution 2020-07-13-04.
thanks, Commissioner Cottles. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Commissioner Atkins. Discussion?
Are we only doing emergency paving at this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Continue on, Mr. Castle, with regard to the Cecil Street signage.
And this is just an FYI. At the intersection behind the water plant of Parkview and the Cecil Street there, right now there is a stop sign on Parkview into the T intersection. But because of the increased amount of younger people coming into that area, partly because of the changing demographics in the neighborhood and also the attraction of the splash pad down there, there's a whole lot more people on foot walking through that area.
Yes.
And putting in the three-way stop will make that area a little bit safer.
I agree.
And that's something we'll do in-house, and it's just more of an FYI.
Yeah. That's great.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item 14 is resolution number 2020-07-13-05. This is the Lake Village Wholesale Purchase Agreement Amendment. Mr. Coffey.
Thank you, Mayor Commissioners. The only term that they are asking for, Lake Village, is to extend their wholesale purchase contract to align with the new USDA RD loan program requirement, 40-year payback. So extends it from the current deadline, I want to say, we did it in 2016 for the same reason, so now it will be dated 2020, so it goes to 2060 instead of 2056.
Wow.
Okay.
I move that we approve Resolution 2020-071305.
Thanks, Commissioner Cottle. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Terry, thank you. Discussion? Seeing none, I call the question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. I do believe we have need for an executive session tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, sir,
Personnel?
property acquisition.
Property acquisition, thank you. So Chair will entertain a motion to move
personnel
into
matter as
executive
well?
session for
Okay.
property acquisition.
Just property acquisition.
Property.
Oh, I thought personnel.
I thought we were gonna do personnel.
Personnel too? Can we add personnel to that?
You wanna add personnel to that?
Yeah, I do.
Mr.
And
Atkins
personnel. Can we
is
add personnel to
requesting
that?
personnel.
All right. I move that we go into executive session regarding potential property acquisition for which publicity at the present time might or would be likely to affect value per KRS 618101B, and for personnel reasons, to discuss a personnel matter pursuant to KRS 618101F.
Thank you, Commissioner Cottle. You do that so eloquently. Is there a second?
I can read.
Second.
Thanks, Commissioner Terry. All in favor of executive session, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. We are in executive session. I'm ready. All right. Do I hear a motion that we move back into regular session?
So moved.
Motion made by
Second.
Commissioner Sears, seconded by Commissioner Cardle. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. We are in regular session.
Ready for a motion?
You don't have anything, do you?
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion's
Second.
made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Have a good evening.
Thank you.